We've always approached it as fans as opposed to corporate partners from the beginning. It's been great for us. We've had a lot of fun working with supporters, coming out with Glory, having the Morgan when he used to be on the Massive Report come by, and those guys. But you know, we're really proud of being from Columbus, and you know, we don't agree with everything that's going on, and want to show as much support we can, and do what we can to show this city deserves this team, and when you look at all around you and how much this team means to everyone. So really appreciate everyone coming out, and save the crew. Here's Morgan.
Oh, thank you, Adam. What a rare treat. Even though Landgrant Brewing Company does associate itself with the failing Massive Report podcast, the aforementioned failing program, we want to thank them for having us. One of the things we've done, we've tried to do during this entire endeavor is destroy narratives, destroy false narratives. When you hear from the speakers from MLS or from Precourt Sports Ventures and they say, the city doesn't care about the team, the local business community doesn't care about the team, we all know that that's crap. But not everybody around the country and around the world does. And it's guys like Adam and Walt and Jenny and the people from Pursuit and countless businesses around town that have helped us effectively destroy that narrative. And a round of applause for Landgrant Brewing Company. So, welcome everybody. You are by far the most authentic looking crowd I think I've seen in days. Ambitious too. Big shout out to all of you. So from the beginning of this, we've talked about openness and honesty. We've kind of demanded it from the powers that be, whether that's Major League Soccer or Precourt Sports Ventures. And if we did that and we didn't kind of be open and honest ourselves, that'd be a problem. So that's what this is today. It's a chance for us to get up and, outside of vlogs, which is a combination of video and blog, if you didn't know that, that's what that word is. This is kind of us, getting up in front of everybody and saying, this is what we're doing, this is what you guys have helped create, and just generally update. So a few of us are going to get up and talk and tell you what we've been doing behind the scenes. John Zadar, Donnie Murray, and all of their friends. So before we do that, I wanted to go ahead and kind of give an overview of what Save the Crew has been all about. Kind of a little bit of a reset button. So maybe if during the Q&A session you'll be refreshed, you'll know what's been going on, and you'll say, I had no idea, now I have so many questions. So that's what this is. When I do this, I'm going to use the word we a lot. Excuse me. And when I say the word we, I mean all of us. I mean every single person in this room, every single person watching on Periscope, all of the humans around the world that have supported this cause, every member of this community that is being threatened to be destroyed. So when I say we, I'm talking about all of us. Not just the people up here talking to the microphone. I mean every single member of this community. So October 16th at 10:51 p.m. to be exact, Grant Wall tweeted his infamous tweet saying that Precourt Sports Ventures and Major League Soccer was seeking to relocate the founding member of Major League Soccer in the Columbus Crew. That was a bit of a shock, and I don't think any of us knew what to do. So the following day was kind of a day of mourning. That was a Tuesday. So that evening, a bunch of us kind of went to Hendok's Pub, and I just decided, for me, that I was done feeling like crap and being a victim of this circumstance. And it turns out that I wasn't the only one. And before I left the bar that night, I talked to all of my friends and just said, we're not going to take this, guys. We've never taken anything like this. We're not going to start now. This is not over, and everybody should go tell everyone that they know. And that kind of resonated. And that next day, Save the Crew was born. That was October 18th. Tom, who's going to talk here in a minute, there you are. Tom direct messaged me on Twitter, and I didn't know who he was. I'm like, what's this nerd? Like, Why is this guy? Oh, I have a computer. Oh, I build websites. Oh, good for you, Tom. So Tom messages me and he goes, I bought SaveTheCrew.com. Do you think we should, like, make that a thing? I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, why not? You know, and I kind of looped John in and Donnie in and Darby Schnarfus in and Katie Mitchell and a bunch of other people, and it just kind of became like a global event, you know, like instantaneously, and it really showed you that day, October 18th, I was like, man, the whole world cares about this, because they should, because it's right. And that's been our strength the entire time, is that you know, yeah, it's a grassroots movement. Yeah, I mean, like, that's tough and everything, but I mean, it helps when A, you have really talented friends, and B, you're on the right side. You know, so that day was that was a moment, and so that evening we had a conference call with Nordecke leadership, and Jay Murray from Murderers Row wanted to do a protest, because that's how Murderers Row works. They're like, let's go to an area and be angry together, and shake our fists at the sky and rabble, rabble. And we're all like, oh yeah, okay, I guess. But what if we did a rally instead? What if we made it positive instead of negative? And at that moment, the tone was set for this entire thing, and it became a way to illuminate the goodness of this community and the important aspects of Columbus Crew fandom. Everything that's good about us is what's good about this game. And everybody latched on. And so during that conference call, actually, I wanted to mention this. John was not paying attention, and he was sketching in his notebook, as artists do, and he sketched just randomly the Save the Crew badge that you have seen so many times. And I muted my phone and I'm like, what the hell is that? Don't stop drawing. Circle it and tear it out from that page, and we need to make that our thing. And God, it just goes to show you how many talented individuals we have in this community, and I'll always remember that. 5 days after the announcement, 2,000 people just showed up at City Hall, because we were like, no, let's show everyone what this means to us. 2,000 additional people watched via live stream. Pam is doing the same thing she did that day. We're live on Periscope today. We were live then. Over 4,000 people 5 days after this announcement came out said, hell no. And that just kind of, that furthered our tone that had been set. That next day was decision day in MLS. 22 teams, 11 home games, all 11 stadiums had Save the Crew banners, none of which were made by any of us. That was beautiful. That was a thing. People started asking for banners, and we didn't have a chance to. We were planning a rally at City Hall, and they made their own, because everyone cares about this, as they should. It's very important. And it felt great then, and it feels great now to know that the rest of the country feels the same way that we do. And I would remind pre-court sports ventures in Major League Soccer that the entire country cares about this. The entire country is not going away. You can do whatever you want. You can take businesses, rip them out of communities, but we're not going anywhere. You want to live the rest of your life as the villain to the entire country? I don't think you do. And I'm going to remind you again that we are not going anywhere. We're going to be here for a long time. Well after you're retired. You want to live the rest of your life as the villain? Go ahead. But we're not going anywhere. So.
We're not done yet!
That's right.
We're not done yet!
Thank you, Pete. Definitely not done yet. October 23rd, I promise I'm going to wrap this up in a second. We were back at City Hall. We spoke to our city council to tell them how we felt. And if there was one thing that we wanted to do as Save the Crew, it was to be the voice for an otherwise voiceless group of humans. And part of that is getting up in front of the people who have power and saying, this is how all of us feel. We've elected you, and this is why you should care about it. So we did that, and we were, 2 days after we were kind of trespassing because Donnie didn't get the permission slip for the right day. It was supposed to be Friday, but we did it Saturday. Great job, Murderers Row. That same week, so less than a week after the announcement came out, I spoke with 97.1 The Fan, 105.7 The Zone, QFM 96, CD 1025, Columbus Underground, Columbus Dispatch, Columbus Alive, NBC 4, ABC 6, Fox 28, 10 TV, The Lanternette, Ohio State, The Daily Trojanet, the University of Southern California, the United States of Soccer Podcast, Vice Sports, Yahoo Sports, NBC Sports, and ESPN FC, all within 6 days to tell them our story. Again, that shows you how much everybody, both inside and outside of the Alpha Belt 270, care about this thing. October 30th, mere 2 weeks since the day of the announcement, we were back at City Hall yet again to accept a resolution of support for the Save the Crew movement. That was kind of our first big thing. People in power going, we're with you, we're going to fight for you. They have, and they will continue to do so. Since then, to this day, we've released a documentary. We've appeared on the BBC in front of a global weekly audience of over 200 million people. We started, finished, and deployed the internationally recognized Respect Your Roots Tifo Sweat Project, walked door to door all over the city to raise awareness and gain the support of over 200 local business allies. We sent out hundreds of handmade Save the Crew banners to all corners of planet Earth, released the Dear Austin video, which has had over 300,000 views across all platforms, spoken more soccer and non-soccer outlets than I have time to mention right now. We filled stadiums both home and away as the crew came within a tap-in of hosting MLS Cup. And we've shined the light of truth on the disgraceful campaign of dirty business metrics that MLS forced upon our community. We've done this while remaining steadfast and positive, showing the entire world that if they can do this to us, that they can do this to anybody. And most ironically of all, we've shown this league, this country, and this planet what true ambition and authenticity actually looks like. It's been remarkable. Today marks the 90-day anniversary of Save the Crew. So, happy 90-day anniversary to everybody here. We, all of us together, fans of the Columbus Crew, we have done this in just 90 days. Imagine what we can do in 90 more and 180 more. We are not going anywhere. You can't silence us. You can't get rid of us. It's a cliche at this point. But not only are we not done yet, we haven't even started yet. So give yourselves a round of applause. You guys make this happen as much as anybody else. There would be no Save the Crew if not for everybody here, everybody watching, everybody's used the hashtag, and everybody cares about this thing that is very meaningful to so many people. With that said, I'm going to kick it over to absentee amateur artist himself, John Zadar. Give him a round of applause.
All right, I don't have a script or am as gifted of an orator as Morgan, so I'll keep it brief, but just wanted to kind of give everybody an idea of how we're organized and how we run things. We, for the most part, use a program some of you may be familiar with called Slack. Really? No. It is basically just kind of like a glorified chat room almost, but it allows us to kind of split people into different teams and share files and just communicate on a constant basis throughout the day and weeks of STC. And it gives us the ability to react really quickly and make decisions kind of in a split second that we need to do sometimes. So we've got about 15 different channels in there, which are the different teams from the business team to the advertising team to the web team to whatever. And those are all comprised of about 50 to 55 I think active volunteers, anywhere from teachers to lawyers to soccer moms to high school, college students. It's a pretty broad spectrum of folks that have jumped in and got involved and lent their talents and time and energy to this. So I don't really know what else to say beyond that, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and if anyone ever has anything that they feel is incredibly valuable that they could add to a specific team, we're always, open to bringing someone in and putting them in charge of something new, or adding them to an existing team and strengthening the power of that channel. So feel free to let us know. You can hit us up at the team at SaveTheCrew.com email, and Darby will inevitably forward them on to me. So yeah. All right. I think Tom's next. Tom.
Okay, so I'm the guy who bought SaveTheCrew.com, and I put together a website. When the news came out, it was, I think, a full 1 day. It was a full day later when I kept checking, well, SaveTheCrew.com is still available. So I decided to buy it. I actually told my buddy at work, I'm getting messages that I should speak louder.
Okay, just hold it closer. There you go.
I actually told my buddy at work, maybe I should buy this, but I'm not sure what I would actually do, because I feel like it'd be a lot of work. And he goes, yeah man, maybe you'll get some traffic, you should probably buy it. So I bought the website, and I just first put up a pretty simple page where you just put your email in, and just kind of just start collecting people who want to help. And I didn't even know what to say. I just said, sign up if you think you can help make the website effective. I didn't even know what the next step was. And people started signing up, and at first I was actually responding to each person as they emailed me. And at first it was just half of them were my friends, so I just said, hey man, like, sure, I'll keep you in mind. Like, I didn't know what to do. But then I started tweeting on Twitter about it. I started doing the hashtag, and then I saw Morgan. Morgan I had no clue who this guy was before, and I was like, okay, he's tweeting about it. People seem to like what he's doing, so I followed him and started messaging him, and it started taking off from there because, well, one, he has a lot more followers than me, but we started getting more and more people sign up on the website, and I was like, I can't do this by myself. We need to get some help. We need to bring in, I think Darby started answering the emails, and it started becoming not just 10, 20, 50 people signing up, but it started becoming into hundreds and thousands of people giving us their email, asking what they can do to help, and that was crazy. It was really cool. I'm a self-taught web developer. I didn't go to school to make websites or anything. So when my website started becoming viral, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Something that I made is getting in front of all these eyeballs, but it quickly became totally different. These people who were messaging, telling us, like, we love what you're doing, this is what the crew means to me, and it quickly became more about all you guys, because I just hope I'm doing a good enough job to help what skill set I have to help save the team. And it became not about me at all. So that was an interesting switch for me early on. On the website, we actually put up a form to start asking people if they wanted a free banner, which was Morgan's idea. And I was like, okay, free banners. I don't know who's not going to want a free banner. And it was actually a few weeks later, I brought it up to the team. I said, hey, we have like 1,000 people asking for a free banner. We don't even have any, so maybe we should start making those. But actually, we sent out all banners. Everyone who requested them and gave us their address, they all got free banners. Even people over in Europe, we got some international requests for banners. The website was mainly one page for a while, but then we started adding more pages. It was just contact lists, and that was like the first real push, is to organize how you guys can do what you guys can do. You can bother your state representatives, any of their MLS sponsors, crew sponsors. So that was really the first purpose of the website, but then we started adding more pages. What I'm maintaining now is we have this page with all the business ally logos. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's over 200 businesses. So we put each one of those on. We have a business team that goes out. So that's really, really cool. The website's actually kind of struggling to load sometimes because there's so many logos. Next thing about the website that was really cool was we made a page where people could sign this letter that we were going to send to all these other MLS owners and the league commissioner. We asked people to sign it, and there was paragraphs that we wrote, and it was pretty cool. We started getting like thousands and thousands and thousands of people email or signing our letter, and I went to John and I said, hey, John, who just booked before me, and I said, that'd be cool if we could somehow visualize all these signatures. And I said, what if we do some kind of like initial thing? And he came back with that little shield logo. And now if you go to the letter page on our website, SaveTheCrew.com/letter, I'm sure everyone here probably has been there before, you'll see thousands and thousands and thousands of these little tiny shields. I think I got a lot of good feedback from that. I think a lot of people like took a screenshot and made it their profile picture. I think that was really, really cool. I think that turned out really, really cool. Early on we started just high-level tracking, but people kept coming in to help, and I just want to mention some people here. Ryan DeShazer, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his last name right. He helped me set up really cool tracking with Google Analytics and stuff, so we started seeing like where you guys were coming from for the website, and where they were going, how much time they were spending on the website. Also I want to mention Matt Bernhardt, who's out in Boston right now, displaced crew fan. He's been instrumental in setting up the website, the blog, the shop that we have out there. He does not get enough recognition because he's pretty much in the background being way out there in Boston, but Matt Bernhardt has been instrumental in everything that we've been doing. Thanks, Keith. Also, in terms of tracking and whatnot, we've had Tobias, who's going to come up here and speak. He helps set up what we use. We use KISS and Quantcast to pretty much know anything about you that you don't want us to know. So we, out of nowhere, with Tobias's help, we were able to find out if you preferred MasterCard or Visa, or if our people coming to the website drove a Nissan or a Mazda. So like, just very, very helpful things. We needed to know that. Also, it was about 3-4 weeks ago, or no, it was I forget when we started making the app, but we had Keith Nass, I'm saying his last name wrong, Bajaj, and David Carver. They came on and they made the iPhone app and Android app, which I'm sure everyone here has downloaded. If you don't, go download the app. It's the best way to get our push notifications and our news and cool stuff. So what's out in the future? We're looking at redesigning the website because I think it's the branding is way off, because it still looks like what I did by myself. So it looks like nothing like John's logo. By the way, John, when you came out with that logo, I was like, this logo kind of sucks. I don't like it.
It's the same thing about your website.
No, I like the logo now. I like it. Also, yeah, so that's it. That's all I got. Just make sure you go out and download the App Store and Android. That's it.
Thank you. Sweet mother of God. You guys don't feel like you have to talk as long as Tom did, for God's sakes. Donnie, you're up next, I think. I just wanted to say quickly about John Zidar. Like, literally, none of this would exist without him. He does such an incredible job of organizing us and telling us what to do. He's phenomenal. Tom, I think, you guys pretty much understand what he's all about. So, Donnie Murray from Murderers Row, everyone.
Thanks, Morgan. Wow, look at this crowd. I was driving here, my car's going like this, I got a little Honda Insight. I was like, I really hope people show up, and holy shit, everybody showed up. This is great. So thank you everybody for showing up, this is awesome. Big shout out to Landgrant here, an amazing business ally. They've helped us do TIFO displays here, they've held this event, so definitely help them out. Grab a pint on your way out of here, or 2, maybe 3. Make sure you drive safe though. So I'm the head of the Business Affairs channel. I won't go on too much about it because business kind of boring, but I wanted to give everybody a quick update on what we've done so far and where we're headed. As everybody mentioned, we've hit up and added over 200 businesses to our Business Ally page. These are businesses who support keeping the team here in Columbus. And as mentioned earlier by Morgan, that's destroying the narrative that there's no community support here from local businesses. I mean, we have businesses emailing us every day, hey, what can I do to help? I signed up to be an ally, what more can I do? It's amazing. It's very, very great to see that from the community. And, you know, as Morgan mentioned, it's not just me doing this. We have a great team on the business affairs team. We've had tons of volunteers come out and deliver window clings, yard signs to all our different allies. It's totally a group effort, which is really amazing to see too, and probably the most special part for me. We've had tons of different businesses donate to us financially as well. Special shout out to Keep It Simple Socks. They're our #1 donor right now. They've sold a lot of socks, so go check out their website. Maybe we have it on. Oh, yeah, David's got some on right here.
Wow, those are great.
Yes, that's great. That's great. We don't want to see that, David. So like I mentioned, we've had so much support. There's a ton of other allies that I can mention, but I don't want to drone on and on. One other example before I move on to what's ahead, Compton Construction, shout out to them as well. I gave Blake Compton a call. He wrote us a check to do a great billboard for Save the Crew, which was amazing on very short notice. So there's tons of great community allies out there who are businesses. And a lot of these business owners, you know, don't just want to keep the crew because it's a great community asset and good for the economy. They also want to keep it because it means a lot to them too. They're truly fans and supporters. So keep that in mind as well. What we're headed in 2018, we got a lot of cool things coming up. We're trying to target a couple larger sized businesses, get their support around town. We just signed a partnership with Flag Lady, so go check out their website. They're doing a Save the Crew flag that's been brand approved by us, mostly John Zidar. I didn't design it, so it looks good. And then we have an event Monday coming up at Resolute, the old sports barn at Easton, so big shout out to them. They're helping to donate part of their field out there. We're doing a youth soccer clinic. So just another example of business allies really stepping up and helping us out. And then finally, another partnership we have going with Jenny's is we're going to have Valentine's Day cards, that's how you say it, in all the Jenny's locations in Central Ohio that we're gonna send to Columbus Crew players. So definitely go visit Jenny's here shortly. We'll have more information. Grab yourself a scoop and write a card to all the players. Because the players aren't in a great situation here either. They're not enjoying this as well. So keep them in mind. And once again, you know, thanks everybody for coming out. I think we're gonna have the messaging team up here next. And thank you, Landgrant, for all your support.
Thank you, Johnny. Seriously, without his ability to put an agenda together, which he did for this event, he does for every Save the Crew leadership meeting, and basically anything that happens in Columbus concerning soccer, we would be a bunch of roaming lunatics. So Donnie keeps us on point. We thank him for that. On Twitter this week, you will notice that we teased that we had a big announcement to talk to you about today. I'm going to invite Tobias and Mark and possibly Zidar back up here. They're going to talk about what they do, and they're going to give you details on said teas. So give it up, Tobias, Mark, and probably John.
All right, well, before we do our teas, I'm going to give you a real brief overview on what we do from a messaging side and what we've had happen and kind of what's going on. You want me to stand up there? How's that better? All right, good. For the people in the back.
Go back down.
All right, so within the past 3 months, as we talked about earlier, we've had a lot happen. And even within the last couple weeks, we've had a tremendous amount happen throughout, not only here in Columbus, but across the country. So one of the things that we did recently was the three of us actually sat down and we had a brainstorming session on what kind of messaging we could come out with and where we could take the conversation, because we felt like we were saying the same thing over and over, right? I mean, it's great to see the hashtag on social media, Save the Crew, Save the Crew, Save the Crew, but at some point we need to have another message behind that. We need to say something else. So we sat down, the three of us, and we brainstormed 2 main video ideas. And the first was I had reached out to some of my contacts in the marketing and advertising world and just said, hey, we really want to get in front of more people here in Columbus. How can you help us do that? And one of my really good friends sells media for all the AMC theaters here in town, and she said, well, we've actually got space coming up, and I can not give it away, but almost give it to you, in front of all the Star Wars movies that are opening up. So we sat down, and one of the things we did was we said, okay, we have about 3.5 days to come up with an idea for this and make it and put it in the theater. And so we brainstormed that. 3 of us wrote a script, a couple other people were involved, I know Dave was involved, and just pounded it out. And then Dave actually did all the sound design on it, and in like a week we had created an animation. John did all the illustrations for it, I did some of the animation on it, and we sent it out, and it played in all the AMC theaters in Columbus for 2 weeks. And so that was one of the things we did. And the message behind that is we want people to realize, outside of the core supporter group and all of the really, really core fans, we want people to know that losing this team means more than just losing a sports team. It's not just about soccer, this is about Columbus. And this is about what this means to be a smart, forward-thinking city, and you can't lose a professional team like that. So what would Columbus look like without anything else in Columbus? It wouldn't be the same place. During that same meeting, this was a really productive meeting, we also came up with an idea because, you know, where current ownership is interested in moving the team, they don't necessarily know what's going on or why. They simply know that, hey, someone wants to bring a sports team here. They don't necessarily know our side. So we wrote a script for a video, Morgan alluded to it earlier, called Dear Austin. And the point was basically to reach out to them and say, hey, as fans, we want you to know that this team means a lot to us. And again, on very, very short notice, John pulled together a group of people. We had about 15 to 18 people come out. Mark reached out to contacts at Kino Pix, and we shot there on a Sunday, and less than 2 weeks later we got the video out. And as Morgan said, you know, 300,000 people around the world have seen it. I think within 15 minutes of it going live, it hit ESPN and ESPN FC's homepage on their video side. So that's been really successful. So we have a lot more things like that planned coming up, but did want to let you know there's a lot of work that we're doing on the background to come up with ideas, but anything that we steal a lot of ideas from out seeing them on Twitter and everything. So as you have ideas, please let us know, because that's where a lot of this stuff sparks from.
Stand up again? Okay. Do you want to tell them more? Is there anything you want to say? I'm just going to tell them a surprise announcement, so if you want to say something, say it now. Okay, surprising announcement. So I know you guys were all excited for the new jersey, but obviously feeling some conflicting emotions about spending money on that. We are excited to let you know that we'll be producing our own jersey. We're still working out a lot of the details on it, but we are planning on doing a full-on thing. We're trying to potentially secure a jersey sponsor. This thing's going to be a nice thing. It's going to have a real badge on it. It's not going to be just a screen-printed polo. It's going to be a full-on jersey. And we'd like to hopefully hold some sort of release event as well at some place around town that everybody can kind of come out and party and check out the jersey and hopefully buy some, and we'll have them on the website eventually too and stuff. But that's our special announcement, is that if you guys were hoping to buy a new jersey this year but don't want to give Anthony Precourt your money, we have an option for you.
All right, give it up. Mark and Tobias and Zadar. I'm going to do the sexy thing here, not dance, but I'm going to tell you more about this jersey because Zadar is very bad at talking. Failing, sad. We will have a sponsor on the front, and it will be a Columbus name, and it will destroy more narratives, and it will be a brand name jersey, and it will be sweet, and there will be a release party, and you will be able to afford this jersey. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. We're not telling you what to do with your money other than spend it on this jersey. You can do other stuff as well. But yeah, we're really excited about that. The details that are still to come that John alluded to are not like, what's it going to look like? Who are we going to buy it from? When are we going to order it? It's like basically just when are we going to order it? And I can tell you that's going to happen on Monday. So it'll be here soon. So that's the big announcement. I mean, you know, it's tough to go, oh hey, there's a jersey coming. I'm very excited about something. I don't know what it looks like, and that's understandable. But it's going to be awesome. And you're going to buy like 7 of them each. With that said, I'd like to introduce you to Darby Schnarfus. He is the guy, there's a reason he's going last, because he's like the guy who everybody at Save the Crew cracks on. Like, somebody will email and they're like, I have a dog that rides a skateboard. How can I make that Save the Crew? And we're like, well, you should talk to Darby. So this is Darby Schaff, and he's going to talk to you about stuff.
Thank you very much. As an added bonus, I'm totally hopped up on cold meds tonight. So this is gonna get a little loose. I got my notes handy. So basically when John came to me and said, I have a really terrible job that nobody else wants to do. We need somebody to wrangle the volunteer efforts. I'm like, okay, I guess all the cool jobs are taken, so why not? No, this has been a really important part of this effort. And let me start off by saying that every one of you who has sent an email to a corporate sponsor, to an MLS front office staff member, to a crew front office staff member, you're a volunteer. If you have told friends and family members to go sign up on the website, or just told them about what's going on, you're a volunteer. You're a part of this. This is a grassroots movement, and that means that this belongs to you. This isn't about the people who are holding the microphone, it's about everybody else who's here in the room. You make this stuff happen. That being said, let me talk about some of the things that happened last year. Actually, one of our first volunteer events happened in this room. There was a banner painting where we had Morgan ordered just a metric crap ton of fabric and brought a lot of black paint and said, hey everybody, go to town. And we made dozens and dozens of banners that night. It was cold, it was raining, we had nowhere to actually let these things dry. And then they were going the next day, thanks to more volunteers, to ESPN's College Game Day, where literally a national audience started learning about what we were doing. After that, we worked on TIFO and handing out signs for the Toronto game. I don't know, hopefully you all were there, or at least saw it. The MLS subreddit actually voted us for Best Fan Display, or TIFO, for the 15,000 signs that got highlighted again to a national audience. So in a situation where MLS wanted us to go away quietly, we held up thousands of signs that said Save the Crew, and that was all because of you guys. And our volunteers took boxes out. While we were all tailgating in the dark and drinking a non-zero amount of beer, they were going out to the entry lines, those ridiculously long entry lines, and handing out signs one by one to everyone who came in, including Toronto fans. And to their credit, they actually helped us out with that. Our volunteers have been a big part of delivering those window clings and signs that Donnie mentioned. With over 200 business allies spread all around Columbus, we needed a way to get them their way to show support, and we couldn't have done that without the volunteers. They've also showed up for resolutions. So when Canal Winchester, when Powell, when Columbus wanted to give us resolutions for support for what we're doing, our volunteers showed up to accept those and to show support for what's happening. So we've been a big part of everything that's happening so far. As far as what's going to happen in 2018, I have no idea. You know, there's going to be so much happening in the next few months, and the volunteers have to be very responsive to what the needs are. So if you have thoughts about, things that volunteers can be involved with, go to the website. Our email address is on there. I also answer the emails. if I don't answer the email, it's because I may have already had 13 emails about, hey, we should buy the team as a community. And I love that idea, but I can't do anything about that, and the volunteers can't do anything about that either. But the ideas are really important, and again, this is a grassroots movement. We don't own this. The people who are here, the larger group of us, that's where the passion comes from. It's where the ideas come from. This isn't some small group of people deciding what's going to happen. This is for you. So if you have thoughts about things we should be doing, absolutely do it. Just to give you a couple of examples, there are people out there who just took ideas and ran with it on their own. Nate Beckman got SafeLight signed up as a business ally because he just decided to hit up the CEO. Tim Myers put together a fantastic document just on his own. Did tons of research, put together an amazing bunch of research. That was just something he decided he wanted to do, and everybody out there has that potential. There are countless more examples that I can't even give, but just, if you have thoughts, you're allowed to do things on your own, you're allowed to involve us, you're allowed to be a part of this, you need to be a part of this. So, now don't get me wrong, if you want to use, like say, the branding, John would really appreciate if you would ask for permission before you run with that. But the thing is, this is all of us. So you need to do things, we need to do things, we need to do things together. So share your ideas, let us know what you think is the best approach we can use in the future. We may not be able to use the idea, maybe we can use a part of it, maybe we use all of it. I don't know. But just send them to us and we'll see what we can make happen. And with that, somebody should probably dip this microphone in bleach.
Thank you, Darby. What a rare treat that guy is. One thing he said real quick that I wanted to clarify. When he said, what's coming up this year? We have no idea. That's not accurate. We have a lot of stuff in store, Darby. But the larger point is that what makes Save the Crew strong is not just all of us. It's the size of our organization and the way that we operate. If you've ever worked for a company, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you're like, I'd like to get a new stapler, right? Well, that's going to have to go through like 700 channels, and we're going to have to get funding approved, and blah, 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 blah. Save the Crew is sized to be nimble, aggressive, and that's intentional. So when the opportunity presents itself to make a difference, and to tell the truth, and to shine a light on what's really happening, we're sized to do it, and we're going to do that. So that's what he means by we have no idea what's going to happen. Because we have no idea what situation we're going to get put into by you people. But I can tell you that we're going to be here to respond to it. So, big round of applause for all these people that got up and were uncomfortable at the microphone. Personally, I can't wait until this is all over and we've saved the crew, mostly because I'd like to sleep again. But importantly, I think that this is, we're all living like a Steve Sirk book, and I can't wait for him to like put into words how awesome all these people are. It's been great. It's been the biggest honor of my life to work with them. So, with that in mind, let's do the Q&A thing I think that we said we were going to do. Like a 15-20 minute thing. We're supposed to be done at 5:15, and my watch doesn't have a battery in it, so I don't know what time it is right now. Okay, 10 minutes of a Q&A. I'll kind of moderate it if that's all right with everyone, and let's fire away. Who's got one? Shrek? No? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the biggest things right now, I mean, we have the narrative, but the thing is, they're banking on, or I'm less banking on, that after all the outrage, it's going to go away. How are we addressing the owner-operators who are the biggest folks that prevent a move from happening, especially when we go into ownership meetings, MLS meetings? I mean,
that's a great question.
Presenting stiffness metrics to that?
Yeah. So the question was, you know, the initial surge was great, but what are we doing to make our voices heard to the people that ultimately are going to make this decision, and that means the owners of the other MLS franchises. From day one, you know, the thing that we all struggled with, I think all of us struggled with that first day, that first week, the first hours of this was, you know, okay, we're angry, okay, we care, what do we do with this? And we still kind of don't know what direction in which to scream, you know, which void to yell at. But the first day that we were an organization, we put the contact list out there for all of the MLS owners. That is still live, and it is still valid, and it is still an outlet for your energy. We are making our voices heard. We have done that. We will continue to do that. We mentioned the letter. That's going to be delivered personally to MLS headquarters. It's going to be sent to every single team owner. And if any of you happen to see this video, I know Dave Greeley is a lurker on Twitter. I'm not sure if any of the rest of you are. So if you see this, we're not going away. You can either have us on your side for the rest of the life of your business as allies, or you can make a crap load of enemies. And our whole life is the Columbus Crew. If you take that away from us, we will have a lot of time to do something. It's not a threat, that's a promise. I will have no time. I will use it to destroy your business. Yes, go ahead in the back.
There is plan for the United States women's match against Germany, exposure, anything?
Okay, so the question was, is there any, are there any plans for the U.S. Women's National Team game that's coming up? I think it's a doubleheader, right? You know, I think that as far as like TIFO goes, banners go, you know, I'd probably be eviscerated on Twitter even more than I already am over banners if I told you what we're going to do. But yeah, there will be, you'll be aware of us. Yeah. Go ahead, whoever's next. No? No? Questions in the back? How about in the back? Anybody back there? Any GCG bags? Have any Don Garber related hot takes? Very nice. You're welcome. They can say his whole name. They're growing up. Yeah, Pete Jones, go ahead. The question was, have we heard anything from the city itself? You know, like I mentioned, Patrick, you can go ahead and check in and Untapped. Again, I'll answer this for everyone else. You know, as we mentioned in the beginning, they were early adoptees of this movement. You know, it's one thing when you're in front of city council for them to, you know, the motion has passed, all those in favor, all those opposed, we now say and declare that Save the Crew is great, hashtag Bills Mafia, that kind of thing, but I've talked to those people behind the scenes and they legitimately care, and they legitimately are working to save this team and to save this community. The people, Columbus is a weird city, man. The traditional power sources in other cities kind of are a little different here. But I can tell you that those in power know exactly how we feel. They desperately care about this because they know via us telling them that we care about it. So they feel the heat, they feel the fire, and we're going to continue to hold them accountable. Because we elected some of these people, and we can unelect them.
Is there somebody from the mayor's office here, and if not, why not? That's a big sign.
The question was, is there somebody from the mayor's office here, and if not, why not? I don't know. Anybody from the mayor's office here? Andy Ginther, you back there? Where you at? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, if they're not, that's probably on us for not, you know, demanding some sort of government presence. We didn't do that. This was kind of meant as an informal, you know, an authentic, ambitious fan event. So if they're not here, that doesn't mean they don't care necessarily. I know that they do, and we're going to continue to jump.
I was going to say, Councilman Cinziano is coming to our event on Monday, the youth clinics. So there is some engagement from people like that.
Yeah, and I know Gangster Crew Baby, I have a connection to him, and he says that he desperately cares. Don't shake your head at me, man. So, Pete, yeah, go ahead.
I know tomorrow with Eric, Wynalda coming to speak, I'd imagine that Save the Crew would probably be brought up countless, at least once, in that U.S. soccer forum tomorrow evening. Is that what you would anticipate?
Okay, so the question was, Eric Wynalda has an event in town tomorrow, and by the way, if anybody else wants to answer these questions, feel free. Eric Wynalda has a town hall type thing tomorrow. The tickets are free. You can get there on his website. I think it's ericwynalda.com/tickets-to-my-event.com, and go there. I have no idea. So it's, I guess it's like a Q&A town hall type thing. He's obviously running for president of the United States Soccer Federation. I would anticipate there being Save the Crew questions. And I feel like that answers your question, but I mean, you know, your answer wasn't great, or your question wasn't great.
So I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Wynalda's campaign manager actually reached out to us on Twitter, asked about specifically about this event, and asked about our thing on Monday, and said that, you know, they're going to attempt to make some sort of presence if possible, given their schedule. So they're very aware of what we're doing already. Whether that question gets asked at his thing or not, I don't know, but they were aware of that and let us know.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes left. Yes?
Hey, you were talking about government interaction, local governments. Mark DeWine, have you guys talked?
The question is, have we talked to Mike DeWine? I have not personally. You know, I think the question is asked because there has been a promise made to those who seek to destroy this community to take them into the legal realm if they choose to do that. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on television. But, you know.
I mean, this, to me, it seems like it holds some ground. Obviously, you know, this is a great grassroots movement that's, you know, so much potential.
Yeah.
Once it comes from someone that potentially running for governor, someone this much status in the state of Ohio, you would think it would have some, you know, some hold to it.
So from like from a Save the Crew perspective, you know, what we want to be, and I frankly have the same question you do, but from strictly Save the Crew perspective, what we are is a voice, and you know, we started out wanting to inform those who operate in arenas in which we can't operate, boardrooms and back alleyways and the like, that we care about this and that they should too. It's an inspirational motivation, and since day one we have gone at that full bore, and we will not stop informing those who have the power to make change that we care about this and that they should make that change, and we will hold them accountable, regardless of what office they hold or what their intentions are politically, I guess. So I'd like that answer as well.
Well, on that note, have you thought about how to expand the movement? I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm visiting friends, and this is a great movement, and it speaks to the value of small businesses and communities really caring about their sports teams and banding together. So do you have any thoughts?
I'm going to pass that off to Donnie. I'm going to repeat the question for the cameras. This is a soccer fan from Atlanta, Georgia. One of the hottest markets in MLS there, Garber. Saying that she loves Save the Crew, and that she's like, you guys are great. I mean, I've never seen anything like this, and you guys smell wonderful. And I mean, can you imagine? I'm going to give this a Donnie.
Oh, shut up. So I was actually trying to address your other question about Mike DeWine. Everybody here, I assume, is registered to vote, and he's running for governor. So if you wanted to reach out and make your voices heard, feel free. Like Morgan mentioned, this movement is about all of us here. You know, me, Morgan, calling him up isn't going to make the biggest difference, but 10,000 people calling him tomorrow and saying, hey, what's going on with the Save the Crew thing? Hey, is this important to you? This is what politicians respond to. This will keep it on their radar, and this will keep it important for them, because they represent us, the people. So make sure you make your voices heard. And then the Atlanta question, I don't know why Morgan passed it on to me, but no, we definitely are trying to continually to reach out to different markets and really make our voices heard. We've reached out to supporters groups from every different city, and we've expressed our message about how this movement is more than just keeping one team here. This is about the integrity of soccer and about the integrity of the game being for us, the people, us, the supporters. It's not just one rich guy's team here. This team belongs to all of us here. And that's a message we can take and say, hey, not just keep Columbus here, but keep every team part of the people's agenda and part of the people's ownership.
I can raise my glass to that.
Yeah. Cheers.
It's almost like you can own something and have it not truly be yours. That's weird. Weird concept. It's true. Anybody else?
What are we doing to fill the parade?
Yes. What?
What are we doing to fill the parade?
What are we killing to? We're killing who?
Fill the off right.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're all here going to buy tickets. That's for sure. That's actually an important thing. The narrative from MLS is that we don't care. I mean, we obviously, again, we know that we do. We know that everybody here does. But we need people to realize that they're being lied to. And the most efficient and effective way to do that is to pack that stadium and to show up and support this team just like we've been doing for 22 years. So Save the Crew is absolutely, definitely going to be pushing very, very hard to get as many butts into as many seats as possible for this coming season, which is not the last season, but it's one of the more visible seasons. And tune in to find out. We sold out, almost 2 playoff games with combined, 3 days notice this year. I can't wait to see what these group of rough lads can do with an entire off season. 2 more questions.
With,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Do we have anything officially set for the U.S. women's team game in March? Right on down here.
I can't believe you've done this. Go ahead.
With the news about Ola and Justin requesting trades or transfers, has there been any communication from any Save the Crew people with the players about their feelings and their intentions that you can address here?
Sure. The question was, have any of us had any contact with any current players on the roster for the Columbus Crew, the first team in Major League Soccer, most important team in the world? As an official movement, no. And boy, it's tough, man. Yeah. Like, I can tell you that I know that these guys care about us just like we care about them. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. Sorry for the Forrest Gump answer, but yeah. Go ahead in the back. 2 more questions. This one and another one, and we're done, right?
Have you heard anything since the meeting in New York from Freeport, MLS, or Garber?
This rhetorical question is brought to you by silence. And it is, has anybody heard anything from Major League Soccer, from Don Garber, or from Anthony Precourt? If you're addressing humans in Columbus, I think that answer is no. If you're addressing humans in the authentic, other markets in this great country, maybe, possibly, who knows. But here, I certainly haven't. Silence has been deafening. I'm ready for the parallel pass. I don't know about anybody else. Last question. GCG Bag, failing host of the Master Report, Bart.
Fail. No, on that note, you talked about the parallel paths that they're obviously pursuing with Austin only. But because of this decision doesn't seem to be just in the hands of what we're doing here, people of Austin are going to have to basically say no to this as well as everything that we're doing. So is there anything that we're doing aside from, the Dear Austin video, great, but maybe using other traditional modes to try to outreach, whether that's looking at a PR firm or ad buys, things like that?
The question was, this is a bad question, but, Master Report, right? Now, Bart said, since, Columbus is not just the only city involved, 2 of the great cities in America are being pitted against each other, and we're obviously doing everything we can in Columbus. Has there been anything that we've done in Austin? And with that, I will pass it to Mark with a weird Slovak, I assume, last name. That's way too tough for me to say. Hi.
So as far as other markets and our messaging, we want to stay positive. Some of the questions that we're getting asked, obviously, there are other groups within the city working on some of these answers. Where Save the Crew comes in is really, we are essentially a message of the movement. So yes, we are grassroots. What we want to do is take all this energy and just not everybody scream into a void, but focus it and use our best resources to really make waves. So that's how we get on ESPN. That's how we get on BBC. That's how we get on, big time media outlets. And that's how the people in power take notice, because, any kind of bad PR for them is lost revenue, lost valuations of teams, things like that. So that's really where our power stands, is to affect change. And what we want to do is stay positive. We want to solicit empathy from other fans. So this is the same thing that happened, to Wimbledon, MK Dons. It's the same thing that happened to Cleveland Browns. So people know these feelings. So it's not just about us, it can be about anywhere.
And don't be jerks to people in Austin. Yes.
As far as speaking directly to Austin goes, it's kind of a fine line that you have to walk there, because no one likes to be told what to do, especially strangers out of town. But that totally wrecked my concentration. So when you're on social media, always remember to be cordial to these people. I mean, we keep saying it over and over, they're not our enemy. I think everybody here probably for the most part knows that, but there are trolls out there. And if you see those trolls being active, maybe take a second to message the person that they're targeting privately and, send them a positive message to balance it out, or do something of that kind, because they are really hurting the things that we have accomplished and are trying to do here. I don't know if you've seen some of the messages that Taylor Twellman said about how he, isn't incentivized to talk about it anymore because he gets attacked so viciously sometimes. So that doesn't do us any good. It doesn't, give us a good look or a good face, and it certainly doesn't help things with, it's a detriment to stuff like the Dear Austin video, and it's kind of a one step forward, 2 steps back type of thing. So just be kind of aware of that, and if you see people doing it, try to combat it to the best of your ability. But we'll keep our messaging towards Austin at least somewhat cordial, and we don't want to tell them what to do, because how would we feel if Austin came in here and told us what to do? All we can do is plead to their humanity and the brotherhood of being kind of sister cities of sorts. So yeah.
Well said, John. Well said. So let's end this, I'll further that point and say this entire movement has worked like it's worked because we have always remembered that the way that we deliver our message is as important as the message itself. Let's continue to keep that in mind. I'll end this by saying that this is not hype right now. I am more optimistic and more convinced that this is going to work, and more energized to make this work at this single solitary moment than I have been at any moment since October 16th. And I mean that. This is not over, and this is not a surprise. We're not like wheeling in crew cat or anything like that. That's just a door opening. Poor timing. This is nowhere near being over. There's only one person who can end this. And there's only one way that person can end it, and that's by saving the crew. So to Anthony Precourt, to Don Garber, you guys have a chance of a lifetime to cement your legacy as people who actually made a difference, who stood up for what is very clearly right, and we invite you to do so. We've been against you for 3 months now. And imagine what we can do together. It's never too late to do the right thing. Save the crew. We're not going anywhere. Give yourselves a round of applause. This has been great. Thank you to Landgrant for having us. All right, and Donnie has a couple pieces of housekeeping, then we're out.
Like Morgan said, thank you everybody once again for coming, and thank you to Landgrant for having us. One more round of applause. So the rest of the event, most of the leadership group here is going to be out there. Feel free to come mix, mingle. If you have questions, like Darby mentioned, please come tell us about them. This movement is about all of us here, not just the people on the microphone, so we want to hear them. We want to answer more questions that we do have answers to. And then grab yourself another pint. And then finally, we do have our Save the Crew merchandise on the high tops on the south end of the building. So please help support us there. We have our brand new zip-up hoodies, which John Zadar has right here, 96 on the back. So take a look at our merchandise. It's great to rock our brand, show it around town. It helps us get attention. And then it also helps support us financially so we can do these awesome videos and get our message out there and help save the crew. Thank you, everybody.